Ladies and gentlemen, we are now inches away from new all-time highs on crypto. Now, when I say new all-time highs, I mean mainly for Bitcoin right now, but altcoins to follow along with Bitcoin. Right now on the daily, HBAR up 7.6%. We also have a few other altcoins up significantly today. XRP was pumping throughout the night as well. But XRP is not up a massive amount. XLM up 4.9%. We also see a few altcoins like meme coins, for an example, up a significant amount as well. And this is because Bitcoin is up in a big way. In fact, we are inches away, like I said, from a new all-time high, which we love to see. Now, across the board, when it comes to altcoins, the average right now is about 4%. Like XRP, for an example. XRP is up about 4% today. But on the weekly, we can see that this is a little bit of a different story, right? Some altcoins are up double-digit plus figures. XRP is also up significantly here on the 1 week. If we actually look and try to find it, I just had it on the daily. Now it's actually a little bit challenging to find. But if we come down here to the 1 week, XRP on the 1 week is up 7.6%. HBAR up 10.3%. We also have XLM up 3.2%. And I actually just found XRP. It's sitting right here next to Shiba. But, overall, the market is starting to wake up. And Bitcoin, of course, sitting at about roughly 109.8K. I don't know if this is fully up to date. Let me actually refresh this. So 109.9K 1 week. 2.3%, Ethereum outperforming 6.1%, even on the daily, outperforming Bitcoin as well. And the actual markets for crypto, if we actually refresh this as well, just to make sure that this is actually up to date. 1 second, here we go. So yeah, Bitcoin closing in on 110K, Ethereum at almost 2,600, XRP at about $2.30, and most altcoins that we are, really kind of watching are also up significantly. Now, I mentioned that this was going to happen. I said that July was going to be, the start of the big rally back to the upside. We are up almost 5% across the board for the market cap of crypto, 3.4 trillion. We are still in 54 neutral levels for fear and greed. Bitcoin dominance did start to drop today. We'll talk about that. But this is what Bitcoin looks like. In the last day, this is the overall move in the last 7 days. Here we have that push back down to like 105.4K, and then the surge back to 110K. And I think that this is all wrong because even the actual chart right now that I have open over on my right side screen, that's at 110K. I don't know if this is actually being able to keep up with it right now, but we are inches away from breaking over those highs that we just had back in May at about 112K. A new all-time high is coming for Bitcoin. I said that crypto was going to follow stocks. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about XRP. Volume on Bitcoin, though, up 29%, $60 billion. XRP's volume up 85 almost percent, $5 billion. This is what the last 1 month looks like. Again, we're just kind of trailing along here. I'm watching for a big breakout of this consolidation, range that we've been in, which again, I'll also address. But the big thing that I'm focused on is stocks. Stocks continue to just go crazy ever since we broke the midline. Okay. We are now up over 2.5% on the S&P. This is a very big gain. A lot of people say that that's not, but in terms of stocks, that's huge. The full recovery on the S&P is over 5.6%. I told you guys that we are going after 7K roughly. 6960 is the big target right now on the S&P that I'm looking at. But I do think that this is going to be a very strong move. We might get one small move back down to retest the original, highs here before we continue higher, which is totally fine. I'll take it. But I do believe that we are about to witness a very large move on traditional markets as well. Now, I want to go back to June 10th and also June 20th. This was my post from June 10th. And I said for the last few weeks, I've made it clear on the YouTube channel that June will be a huge month for crypto. Now, everyone will say that June was not that big of a month for crypto, but if we actually look at the last month for crypto, leading into June, we were just kind of trailing along. We hit about 110K multiple times here. Again, just trailing towards the end of the month, and then boom, we woke up towards the end of the month into, of course, July. June was a huge month for crypto outside of even price action. A lot of huge updates, a lot of huge moves happening, but I specifically said that alt season will start sometime around the end of June, beginning of July. And yes, I do believe that this is the case. I do think that alt season is on its way. I'll talk about a few things. Number one, Bitcoin dominance is like the key thing to watch here. I'll talk about that. But I do think that we are getting close. I said that we are starting to see some altcoins jumping 50% plus today alone, like Axelar. The early signs are showing right now, while many are sidelined or simply not paying attention. Now, my next post was from June 20th, and I said 5 months. That's how long it's been since we actually had any significant price action across the board for crypto. The noise is getting louder. We are starting to see retail crumble. I read hundreds of comments a day, and the majority is tired, frustrated, and now giving up. The consensus right now is that there will be no alt season, that this market has topped, and we are now entering the bear market. I see this as an opportunity rather than a certainty. There are two scenarios we are in right now, and either one really does benefit those who are willing to take on the risk. Number one, we are closer to alt season than ever before with a potential start in July. Number two, we are following the 2020/2021 timeline, and we will see alt season start around the end of the year into 2026. I personally believe that we are following scenario one, simply because of the time frame patterns on Bitcoin dominance and the total 3 from previous cycles. I could easily be wrong here, and we could just be following scenario 2, but either way, I believe we see much higher price action soon. This is not an easy game. If it was, everyone would be able to play it and win, but that's just not the truth. Many will be shaken out, many will sell way too early, and most will actually lose money before they make any profits. Just remember that you didn't get lucky and that this wasn't an easy path to winning. Now, this is currently the view on Bitcoin. This is currently Bitcoin dominance. And this is currently XRP. Bitcoin itself, on the weekly, we are 3 days and 10 hours away from getting our weekly candle close. If we get a weekly candle close over 109.1K roughly, it is all, we're going to see the push to 120K. It's up only from this point to 120K if we get that close. In 3 days, we will know exactly what happens next. But if we break over this liquidity wick before that, which is 112K, price action amount from our current level to this is sub 2%. If we break over that level, price discovery hits, we go to 120K. This is why I said that we are inches away from a new all-time high on Bitcoin. We already have a break over the upper trend line. We just need to make sure that we close it. On the 3-day and on the daily, it looks a little bit different, okay? This is kind of what the 3-day looks like. We already kind of have that breakout above. You could say that this was a fake out if you want, or even if you want to utilize that one as all right, well, we still need to break over this. You can. Either way, we're still peaking above it, and it's showing signs that we might be actually breaking out here on even the 3-day. But I like to look at the weekly a little bit more because the weekly gives us a higher time frame, which gives us a far greater overall. It's a greater confirmation, right? Like the confirmation here on higher time frame structure is you could trust it a lot more than lower time frames. Like for an example, a lot of people will look at the 15-minute chart and say, "Oh yeah, hey, guess what, guys? We're breaking out," or even on like the hourly, like, "Oh, we just broke out, guys. That's it. You know, we're going to the moon." But on the weekly, if you don't confirm those breaks over the previous candle bodies, they act as resistance. So the fact that we are breaking above these levels with ease shows us how bullish Bitcoin actually is right now. Now, on top of Bitcoin dominance, we now have 3 red 3-day candle closes. I'm looking at this on the daily. I've been watching this closely for us to really have a big significant wick to the downside. I'm mainly looking at candles like this on the daily, or even if we go back here to, if we go back here to November into December, we want to see the steep stairs to the downside. So from here, I would love to see some major moves to take out these lows back here from May, which will signal a much larger shift to the downside. And we should start to see altcoins really taking off while Bitcoin is breaking to the upside of 120K plus. Now, outside of Bitcoin dominance, like I said, XRP is also extremely bullish. This is what the 1 week looks like. Again, we're peaking above that upper trend line. This is a very good sign of momentum on XRP. Now, I saw somebody say that you could draw this also like this if you wanted to, and we have a strong weekly candle body already above this. Yeah, you can draw it like that as well. But I'm kind of going off of these other wicks here just to kind of give us a little bit more space. And even then, we're still breaking out. The next target on XRP, in my opinion, is $2.46 before we ultimately retest the trend line. Now, this retest of the trend line, it could also be short-lived. We can come back down to like $2.17, for an example, before we go crazy. Or we could simply just break to the upside. We don't even need to have that retest. I'm just watching for what happens next. But this would align with Bitcoin also having a potential sell-off from the highs, from the high wick, just like stocks. If we see a sell-off on stocks, we watch stocks closely for the remainder of this week. But the biggest catalyst behind all of this is going to be what the Fed does. A lot of people think that the Fed is just simply going to pause rates in July as well. We're not going to see a cut, which definitely makes sense. Listen, it makes a lot of sense. There's a 6.7% chance of a rate cut in July, but in September, there is a 72.2% chance of a rate cut. I do think that we probably get a rate cut in September. We probably see a pause in July. Would have been great to see a rate cut decision in July, but right now we still have a perfect, excuse from the Fed. But I think that excuse really is going to be running out of time by September. But we also did see this from the Coinbase letter. You can't make this up. President Trump just issued a handwritten note to Fed Chair Powell. The note calls Powell too late and shows how U.S. rates should be here, pointing at other country rates. Trump says we should be paying 1% interest or better. Our 1% rates incoming. And here we actually have should be here anywhere between like 50% to like 1.75%, which, technically speaking, we should be, but we're down here at the 4.5% level, which is just insane. We have Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rates by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars being lost. No, I don't know what this says here. I actually can't even read that. But overall, yeah, listen, we should have rate cuts. We should have already had a rate cut decision happen this year. But again, we had the tariffs, we had the trade war, perfect excuse. And Jerome Powell typically is too late, right? We always know that Powell has always been too late to the party. But we're definitely watching a few things here. Overall, we're inches away. I'm very excited about this. I do think that July is going to be huge, just like June. June was a very good month for crypto, regardless of what anyone wants to say. This was the June price action. This was the beginning of June. We just trailed sideways down to the bottom of this trend, and then we broke out towards the end of June to the highs of like 108.5K, 108.7K. And most of the altcoin market did also wake up in the month of June as well. Even if we go to the top gainers and losers in the last 30 days, and we go to like the top 500, a lot of altcoins are actually up in a big way over the last 30 days, which we love to see. So yeah, June was definitely a big month. There's definitely a lot of losers, by the way, as well. I'm not just saying that like everything was good. There was definitely a lot of losers too, but for the most part, You know, June was a very good month, but I do think that July will be even better. And I'm very excited about this. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.